Welcome to an electric world where every punch unfolds a tale, every kick, a thundering decree. This is the exhilarating, pulse-quickening cosmos of UFC, where women are dramatically reshaping the battlefield norms. At the nucleus of this universe, we discover a fiery stage where pure, raw power collides with sharply honed skill, where fierce warriors clash amidst the deafening cacophony of cheers and roars erupting from a feverish crowd. This is the high-stakes world of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, or UFC, a groundbreaking arena that has revolutionized the sport of mixed martial arts. Since its birth in the turbulent 90s, UFC began as a spectacle, a battleground where martial artists of diverse disciplines would compete to crown the most formidable fighting style. But as the decades unfurled, it morphed into a sport that demanded not just one, but an arsenal of varied martial arts skills. From the sharp jabs of boxing to the bone-crushing holds of wrestling, from the fluid moves of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to the lethal strikes of Muay Thai, UFC gladiators are expected to master them all. The meteoric rise of UFC to global stardom is a saga of unyielding grit and steely determination. It's an epic tale of athletes who train with a ferocious intensity, pushing their bodies to the brink and often beyond. These modern-day Spartans spend innumerable hours sharpening their skills, perfecting their techniques, and steeling their bodies to withstand the most devastating blows. They exist, inhale and bleed for the sport they fiercely adore. And the electrifying intensity, the heart-pounding anticipation as fighters stride into the octagon, the charged atmosphere as they lock eyes, the roof-shattering applause as the referee raises the victor's hand. It's an experience that's as spine-tingling spectators as it is for the gladiators. Yet, in this adrenaline-infused domain, a revolution has been silently stirring. A seismic shift that has not just uplifted the sport, but has also smashed stereotypes and obliterated boundaries. It's the fiery emergence of a new legion of warriors, ones who battle with the same fervor, the same raw intensity, and the same unwavering dedication as their male counterparts. There's been a game-changing element in UFC, the rise of female fighters, a revolutionary wave transforming the sport. The world of UFC was once dominated by men, but not anymore. Women have stepped into the ring and they're not backing down. In the early days, the UFC was a testosterone-fueled spectacle, with women nowhere to be seen. But then, pioneers like Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate burst onto the scene. Rousey, a former Olympian, brought a level of athleticism and intensity that was previously unseen in the women's division. Her armbar submission move was feared by all, and she quickly climbed the ranks to become the first woman to hold a UFC title. Miesha Tate, on the other hand, was a force to be reckoned with. With her grit and determination, she battled her way to the top, winning the UFC Women's Bantamweight Championship. Her rivalry with Rousey was legendary, and their fights were some of the most exciting and intense in UFC history. But it wasn't an easy journey for these trailblazers. They faced doubt, criticism, and even outright hostility from those who believed women had no place in the UFC. They had to fight not only their opponents in the ring, but also the stereotypes and prejudices outside of it. However, their groundbreaking victories and undeniable talent began to shift opinions. They proved that women could fight with just as much passion, skill, and ferocity as men. They showed that a woman's place could be in the UFC ring, inspiring a whole new generation of female fighters to step up and take their shot. These women not only shattered glass ceilings, but they also paved the way for a new generation of fighters. They proved that in the UFC, it doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. What matters is your skill, your passion, and your will to win. And thanks to these pioneers, the future of women in UFC is brighter than ever. From the pioneers, we move to the current champions, the women who are ruling the UFC ring today. These women are not just fighters, they're trailblazers, setting records and breaking barriers in a sport that was once dominated by men. Let's start with Amanda Nunes. Known as the Lioness, Nunes is an explosive powerhouse with a fighting style that's as fierce as it is strategic. With a stunning 21 victories under her belt, she's a force to be reckoned with. Her dedication to the sport is evident in her rigorous training regimen, which includes a mix of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, and Judo, proving that versatility is key in the UFC ring. Next up, we have Valentina Shevchenko, the Bullet. Shevchenko's speed and precision have earned her the flyweight title. A master of Muay Thai and kickboxing, her striking ability and tactical approach are a testament to her dedication to the sport. She's not just a fighter, but an artist, choreographing her moves with a precision that's nothing short of awe-inspiring. We can't forget about Weili Zhang, the first Chinese champion in UFC history. Known for her aggressive style and impressive striking power, Zhang has become a symbol of female empowerment in her home country. With 21 wins and a strawweight title to her name, she's a shining beacon of possibility for aspiring fighters everywhere. And finally, we have Rose Namajunas. Thug Rose might be petite, but don't let that fool you. Her grappling skills and striking power have proven that size isn't everything in the UFC. With a winning streak that includes 2 strawweight titles, Namajunas is a testament to the power of dedication and hard work. These women continue to inspire and break records, proving that UFC is indeed a woman's game too. They're not just fighters, they're symbols of perseverance, strength and resilience, showing us all that with dedication and grit, anything is possible. Now let's delve into some fascinating trivia about women in UFC that you might not know. To kick things off, let's talk knockouts. The fastest knockout in women's UFC history is held by none other than Ronda Rousey. In the year 2014, at UFC 175, she floored Alexis Davis in just 16 seconds. That's quicker than it takes to tie your shoelaces. Moving on, let's discuss winning streaks. The longest winning streak in women's UFC history is held by the indomitable Amanda Nunes, who enjoyed a streak of 12 consecutive wins from 2015 to 2021. That's half a dozen years of unbeatable prowess. Now, onto unique training routines. Did you know that Rose Namajunas, the first Lithuanian champion in UFC history, incorporates ballet into her training? That's right. The grace and flexibility of ballet help her deliver those swift, powerful kicks in the octagon. Speaking of training, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, the former women's strawweight champion, is known for her intense training routine. She trains for 6 hours a day, 6 days a week. That's 36 hours a week dedicated to honing her skills and maintaining her fighting form. Now, let's touch on the aspect of diversity. Women's UFC boasts a wide range of nationalities. Valentina Shevchenko, the flyweight champion, was born in Kyrgyzstan, raised in Peru, and represents her adopted country of Kyrgyzstan in the UFC. Talk about a global sport. Lastly, let's not forget the age factor. The youngest woman ever to step into the UFC octagon was Paige Van Zandt, who made her debut at just 20 years old in 2014. On the other hand, the oldest woman to compete in the UFC is Marion Renault, who fought in the octagon until the age of 43. These facts just go to show how dynamic and exciting the world of women's UFC truly is. As we look to the future, one thing is clear. Women in UFC are here to stay. The sport is no longer a boys' club, and the women are making sure it stays that way. The future of women in UFC is bright, with a wave of talented young fighters making their mark on the sport. These fearless women are not just fighting their opponents in the octagon, they are battling stereotypes and breaking down barriers, proving that they too belong in this testosterone-fueled world. One such rising talent to watch out for is Jade the Hurricane Harper. At just 22, she's already turning heads with her fierce determination and technical prowess. Her lightning-fast punches and strategic ground game have won her several fights and a growing fan base. Another future star is the Siberian siren Anastasia Volkova. She's known for her unyielding spirit and her powerful strikes. With a background in sambo and judo, her grappling skills are top-notch, and she never fails to put on a show. But it's not just about the fighters. The global interest in women's UFC is increasing at a rapid pace. More and more people are tuning in to watch women's bouts, and the athletes are receiving the recognition they deserve. This growing interest is not only good for the sport, but it's also a step towards gender equality in sports. The impact of women's UFC on gender equality cannot be overstated. These women are shattering the glass ceiling with every punch, every kick, every win. They are showing the world that they can be just as strong, just as skilled, and just as determined as their male counterparts. In the world of UFC, it's not about gender, it's about strength, skill, and the will to win. And women have proven they've got all three in abundance.